Alright guys, day number 2 of working on the SC. We got a lot to do today. We have to get a lot accomplished. Hoping we can get at least the intake manifold and exhaust manifold off today and get those put to the side. But before we start anything else, you already know what we gotta do. Let's crack one of these babies open and let's get caffeinated. Drink half of that, and then I don't know if you guys know what this is, but this right here is a drink I used to have back when I lived in Southeast Asia. And this thing is like a vitamin malt drink. It's kind of like a protein drink, like a protein on the go, but this stuff is amazing. So we're gonna get half of this in us too. Half of both of those. I'm gonna be ready to go. Let's do this.
Search everywhere.
So we're gonna clean up a little bit right now, clean all this up so that we have a nice clean space, because you already know we clean up before we do any work, and then after that we're gonna get right on the engine. Let's go, baby. It's a reference of how cold it is. That right there, that's all ice. That's crazy. Yeah, it's cold up here. Alright, we're gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna see if I can pour this into this can successfully. Oh, there we go. Pour it all in, and then I'm gonna mix them up, and I'm gonna take all of it. There we go. That's actually so good. That's like a really good mocha. Man, this is good. Alright, cheers guys. Boss up. Let's go. The sun's coming out too, and it's getting so nice and warm. Oh, I can feel it. So we're gonna go ahead and get on to this thing. Let's go ahead and take everything off today. Let's go. Okay guys, so I have finally taken most of the intake off. As you can see, there's a coolant pipe right there. So it connects underneath this, which I guess if I lift it up, you guys can see it getting pulled. I decided I might as well take the upper radiator hose, take everything out anyways. And this is what I found. This is frozen. I didn't show you guys where the coolant temp was on the cluster, which it said it was not hot. So I think what was happening is I think there's an air bubble. So I think one, didn't bleed the system properly, and 2, the coolant in the car froze. So I've never had that happen to me, but I've never lived in freezing temperatures. So that is the reason why you don't run water wetter in the winter, and you only do it in the summer. So lesson learned. Unfortunately, it means I have to take this whole engine apart and rebuild it because the head gasket's still blown. I have never done an engine rebuild. This is my first engine rebuild, and it's fitting that it's in the SC because this thing is kind of what started this whole channel, other than my 4Runner, which we're gonna get into that in a later video, but it's kind of fitting. So it took me a lot longer to get this crossover pipe out. I have already decided, though, that I will be doing a very simple rebuild on this engine, which entails that I'm going to take the head off, I'm going to resurface it, I'm going to do all OEM parts, but I will not do anything more than that. I could overbuild it right now, and then from there put a turbo on it and know that the block's gonna be fine. However, that's not my budget right now, and not that I wouldn't want to do it. I'd love to do it if I was able to buy forged pistons, the proper piston rings that you need, as well as the piston rods. Like, I wish I could do all of that right now, but unfortunately that's not in my budget. My budget is just to get this thing OEM rebuilt, make sure everything runs correctly, because like I said, I need to get more content on this car when it's running. I had a comment on the YouTube short on Instagram, and by the way guys, I read all your comments, every single one of them, because if it's great, I appreciate it, but if it's a negative comment, I build off of it. It's all about motivation for me, and your negative comments actually help me a lot with me being able to push forward and improve my channel. And any way that you guys can help me out is definitely appreciative, for sure. So anytime you guys comment a positive or negative comment, I always listen to it, and I always try to incorporate that into my videos. So with that being said, I hope you guys are enjoying this video. If you guys are, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, join the Ohana. Watch me as I go through all of this process, and you know, follow me as I'm staying true to myself and staying positive, no matter how the situation may be, where I am, you know, might be in the worst negative situation that, you know, you could ever think of. And I'm always going to think, not forcefully, but I'm always going to think of something positive through it, because that's just how I have to operate. Because if I don't operate that way, then, well, life would suck and it would be a dark time. So anyways, enough of this talking story. Let's get back into this. Second big piece. What I want to do for that EGR block off delete kit is chop this off to a certain degree. I'm gonna reuse this right here, but I'm gonna chop it off, and I'm probably going to make a little block off plate on this, because I want to reuse these pieces as far as, well, I want to reuse this and then make a block off plate out of this design, because don't get me wrong, I love being able to buy products, but if I can reuse these stock components, make a block off plate or make a delete kit or something out of just the stock components. A good practice is always put your bolts back where they went. So like, for example, all the bolts that we took out, which I believe were this one right here, we're gonna put them back in so that we don't lose them. And also, this is good practice so that when you're putting everything back, you can remember to take them out, because the last thing you want to do when you put this all back together is to get everything ready, you know, put the intake manifold on and everything like that, and then forget that these bolts are in, and come up with the intake manifold, and now you can't do this anymore. This component right here is the upper, which sits on this. So there's the intake manifold gasket, which is in here, which I have to take all of this stuff out anyways to get to. So that all needs to get taken out. And then from there, this is the upper intake manifold gasket. So there's the lower intake manifold gasket, which goes on the block or the head, and then there's the upper one. Upper one goes to these holes right here. And then this is going to be the crossover pipe manifold, or a crossover pipe gasket. So there's so many gaskets that this engine has. Ooh. These fuel injectors definitely need to be freshened up and cleaned, and we're spilling fuel everywhere. I'm going to keep them in the fuel rail for right now, and then I'll label them, each one going to which, because I think I said it in my IS300 video, but making sure that the injectors go in the same one is important. For example, have a consistent flow out of 6th, and then you put the first first cylinder injector in 6th, and they don't have the exact same flow rate. Sometimes it will mess up the engine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to block all of the okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take a rag, and I'm just going to tear off a little bit here and there and just stick these into the injector holes. That way I know for a fact that nothing can get into them. And I'm also going to take these bushings right here off. The last time I did this job on the IS, I lost one of them, so I have to make sure that I don't lose these. Alright guys, so just wanted to update you guys a little bit because I have not been feeling well the past couple of days. Went ahead and got the whole intake side out, which these connectors are all very annoying, all of them. That one right there, and then these two, and then this one here as well. But the most annoying ones are down here. These are for the evap, which I am not planning on putting back in if I absolutely don't have to. This is the charcoal canister, which that connector right there was just a absolute monster to get off. But I want to see if I can take this off and then kind of delete the evap canister, but still make it so that the engine's still happy and not all pissed off at me. So that's kind of what we're going at, hopefully. I also took the exhaust side off, which the exhaust manifold gaskets are, well, they were in good shape. I have to take this cap off without losing all of these leads, which, just to let you guys know, it's easy to put these back on because there's the length of them for the spark plug wires are, well, they only go to one cylinder because obviously they can't go farther than that. But I went ahead and I just labeled all of them. It's just easier to do that. I'm gonna take this cap off, and then we're gonna go ahead and take this pen and mark where the rotor is. If you rotate the rotor too far one way or too far the other way, you're gonna advance or retard your timing. She don't wanna give up on love she don't know. So this is a very important step right here. So I already got all of the camshaft caps off. They're all loosened up. So I have them lightly on so that you could kind of pull up on them, but not really. I put a little bit of threads on them. So I can wipe each section off the middle. Number one cylinder. I'm gonna put an E for exhaust. So they're not perfect. I have really bad handwriting, but as long as they are all numbered and they're legible for me, as long as I can read it, make sure everything goes back to where they need to be, That is the whole goal. So we're gonna go ahead and slowly, one by one, take these out and put them into the room that I have ready for them, and then we're gonna go from there. Alright, so we are now at the point, guys, where we are trying to take the buckets out. I have already labeled all of them. Take the buckets off. I had a magnet for this. I have no idea where the magnet went, so we are just using magnet trays. Yay! But I do have a microfiber on it so that the bucket comes off a lot easier. So we're gonna go ahead and take this off. I picked these up like a while ago, and I realized halfway through, I was like, why don't I just use this? Because this is a really strong magnet, and some of the times the buckets are just stuck. Even if they're well oiled, they'll be super stuck because they're machined to exactly to fit the valve springs and the retainers. I break loose each one of them and give one half of a turn. So I break it and then I spin it halfway. Break it, spin it halfway, break it, spin it halfway, break it, spin it halfway, then break it, spin it halfway, 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 break it and spin it halfway, break it and spin it halfway. What I mean by break it is you're breaking the tension on it. For those of you that don't know what breaking a bolt means, is no, it is not breaking the head off. Please don't do that. That would be terrible, especially these, because these bolts are chromoly oxide, which is the same as ARP bolts. What that means is that you cannot drill into these as easily. Take this. That was actually really loose. So break it, spin it halfway. Break it, spin it halfway. Even if it doesn't squeak, that's fine. There we go. You heard that squeak, hopefully. There we go. And then 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so if you don't lift it up at the same time, the surface of the head to the cam will actually dig into the cam, and that will completely ruin the cam, and you'll have to get another cam. Oh, shit. Jeez. Oh man. This is scary. This is scary. Oh. So if you haven't guessed already, we are taking the cylinder head bolts out, and they're a 10mm triple or double 6, which is a 12 point. I have to order that that tool, that socket, because I don't have it. So we're using a T55 right now. It's not slipping, and honestly, I couldn't care less about these bolts because we're having to replace them anyways with brand new cylinder head bolts because these are torque to yield. So we can't reuse these. So I'm just breaking each one of them uniformly and then putting them back down so I can take the tool out that I have, this tool right here. And then after I do that, I'm going to then very slowly start removing each one of them, because like the camshaft, if these don't get removed in a sequence, there could be warpage. Oh my gosh. Oh god. Ooh, we good, we good. Oh, there we go. We're at the point of having to take each bolt off in sequence because I don't know if I can take it off with this thing, but we shall find out. Pulling has been definitely the easiest thing to do. Oh. 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 Important thing is we don't shock this by putting a bunch of pressure on right off the bat. We gotta go very in sync. So like that. If you try to shock the bolt, that bolt's not gonna like that very much at all. The right tool. Let's go. Okay. Go off. There we go. Oh, that's good. So it was at this point where I figured something was wrong because I didn't have to take the impact out for any other of the head bolts, and this is the head bolt that ended up stripping out. I was at the point where I just wanted to get it done. At this point I had taken all the other head bolts out with the washers, and this was the last one that was in there. And as you can tell, I'm kind of frustrated, but at the same time I'm just trying my best to figure out how to get it out, because the last thing I wanted to do was drill it out. And well, that's what we ended up doing. I did not get any footage of me drilling it out because there was no good way to film the process of drilling it out. And it's funny because after this clip, I actually went out and got the 12mm 12-point socket that I needed to get the right tool that I needed to actually get the head bolt out. So I think I messed up the cylinder head pretty good on this one channel where the head bolt is, but that will be for the next video. So with that being said, yeah, I knew I messed up, and yeah, so that's kind of where we're ending today's video. So thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment if you guys haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Never forget, always stay positive and stay true to who you are. I will see you guys in the next video, and I will try my best to explain to you exactly what happened and what the results were in the next video. So stay tuned. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Shoots!